once we've closed that first deal, the next step naturally is the service fulfillment. So we booked that revenue. It feels great. We saw, $2, $5, maybe $20,000 land in our Stripe account. And from here, what we want to do is schedule a kickoff call with the client. So prior to that, we'll likely do a little bit more research into the tools that they're already using in their business. We'll check to make sure that there are certain API endpoints that we anticipate using that exist. We'll start to sort of map out the workflow as we see it, and then we will basically get on a ideally hour-long call with the client where they are screen sharing and walking us through their entire process for accomplishing something that we're going to be automating. And at that point, we will basically check our thinking against theirs. We'll share with them the sort of crude map of the workflow that we created, and we'll fill in the gaps. And then at that point, what we'll do is just get heads down and start building. And at this point, we will regularly maintain communication with the client. We'll send them Loom videos, as frequently as 3 times a week, sort of beginning, middle, and end. But really the cadence here can vary. I mean, what's most important when we're servicing these clients is obviously building the automations, but almost in equal parts, just making sure that our clients feel like we have skin in the game, like we're emotionally invested in the success of their organization, and we're willing to do really whatever it takes in order to help them grow and scale and make more money and just build a incredibly robust organization. And as we are working on the initial project that we sort of got started on, the thing that sold them on our services in the first place, what we want to constantly be doing is looking for other opportunities where we could theoretically continue building for their business. So for me, when it's come to really scaling revenue and growing my business to $70,000 to $100,000 a month, it hasn't been a function of working with a ton of different clients. Instead, it's actually just been going deep with 5 or 6 clients and continuing to work with them in an ongoing way. And the way that we do that is by, at every kind of turn, identifying where there is this sort of continued opportunity for us to create value. And beyond that, one thing that I want to call out is that we're not plugging into their organization in order to just sort of shill some go high level software or do whatever gimmicks people are kind of doing nowadays. Instead, we're building all of our tools on clients' accounts. So specifically, if we're building, X workflow, that might be contingent on setting up make automations and looping into their CRM and setting up Twilio and all these different tools. We're basically having the client create all of those different accounts, and then they're adding us as collaborators. We're explaining to the client that, hey, we're not going to middleman any of the data. Everything that we build will be on your accounts. You'll own everything. And to that extent, if you ever want to stop working with us, that won't be a problem because you'll be able to just take everything that we've built cleanly and move on and find someone else to help you. And when I mention that, often people think that, oh, well, in that case, how are we sort of scaling MRR? And in what way is the revenue here sticky? Because at any point, the client, has this sort of neat off-ramp. But when we do a really good job across this process, what happens is clients want to stick around. I mean, we're building these workflows that become fundamental structurally to the way that they're operating their business day to day. And with that, we have this sort of intricate understanding of how they work that creates a certain amount of lock-in. But beyond that, by building on our clients' accounts, it means that we're mitigating risk in the event that, there's some random data leak. We're basically offloading all of that onto our clients' plates. It also means that they're responsible for maintaining the costs associated with these workflows as opposed to us. Just the main thing to keep in mind here is that this framework allows us to service really high net worth individuals, like legitimate business operators that are running, in some cases, 9 figures of cash flow a year. And when we are building bespoke solutions for them that run on their systems and that speak to their immediate needs, it really ingratiates us with these high level operators in a way that just shilling some random pyramid scheme CRM thing is never going to. Okay, now that we have our first client and